Hello everyone, welcome to Scorcher Toys at Anymoon.com's transformation guide for the Beagle 110 scale ride armor toy. Today we're going to begin in armor mode and end up in motorcycle mode, and there are going to be a lot of steps along the way. This isn't a toy I transform very often, so this might not be my smoothest guide, but wish me luck. If you appreciate these guides and you feel like shopping for toys, click the Big Bad Toy Store link below. You'll be helping me out and you'll see a great selection. Now let's start by closing up these little fins on the side booster here. And we're gonna just recess that, and you're gonna wiggle jiggle and make sure you get it in as far as possible. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Just push that in, nice and tight. And then we're gonna go ahead and just pop out all of the connections for the appendages. So just pulling away at the hip armor there. We're gonna pop free on the gauntlets. Now, you might have the gun if you're using a Ray version in the hand. I've already recessed mine away from the hand, and put it on the outside. So let's go ahead and pop that free. Same thing on the other side here, just pulling away. You can see it's still connected, it's just hanging loose now, same on the bottom. And you also want to go ahead and start teasing the chest pieces away. And you'll see that's getting loose there. And what we want to do next, pop off the head. This isn't quite a perfect transformation toy, so you want to get that head free. And then we're going to go ahead and lift up this section here. And then on the sides, you can see there are white little clips. We're gonna go ahead and bring those out. Now, you should be able to get the arms pretty far out and away because we've freed up the chest. So we can bring out those pieces here. Now, just showing on the side, trying to get the room for this white piece to open up. Same thing over there. This piece comes up. And now we can remove our rider figure. So you can see the rider's in there. He clips on in a couple different places, but you should just be able to pull him forward and he will come loose. A little snug on the bottom. Now, what you could do to help yourself out here is pull this up even further, but you do have to watch your clearances. So let's get that up. There we go. So pull that up, and then you can just pull the rider free, like so. Now what you could do at this point is put everything back together again to be in sort of a armor mode that you would put up on the display stand. We're gonna go ahead now and flip the headlights over until they click, like so. Putting the armor aside for a second, we're gonna take the rider figure and we're gonna go ahead and collapse the boots. Already had one partially collapsed, and just put the head back on, or you can opt for the helmetless head if you wanted to. Now your armor might look something like this or like this. What we're gonna focus on next are the shoulders here, and in armor mode, this piece here is extended and in the upward position. We're going to bring it down to the lower position and push it back in. And then we're just gonna rotate the armor around until this tab right on top goes into that slot right on the side. So as we bring it around, it should just click right into place. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Continuing getting that front fascia together, depending on how you were posing your armor, this ball joint might be in several different positions, but what we wanna do is bring everything up and tuck it in nice and tight underneath. And so what we wanna do is bring this piece around so that those two slots are facing you, and you've got this round part on the exterior of the toy. And then you can see there's a peg right here on the top of that. We're gonna fish it into that little slot right there. And what we wanna do is just bring this up and forward, and you can see it just kind of tabs in like so, and we're gonna repeat on the other side. All right, now we're gonna actually bring that cowl up. So let's bring the windscreen out of the way, and then pivot everything on the interior here, get those pretty straight, and then we should be able to line our cowl up and just push it together like so. So that's nicely connected now. You don't have to worry too much about it. You're going to be doing lots of fine tuning as you go. But there you go. You can see bike mode, that front of bike mode has come together. And then we're going to take our toy, we're going to look at it from the side, and we're going to pull up on this wheel here. And that allows it to drop down. And then we can go ahead and pull back on the seat here. Obviously, I pulled pretty hard to make that happen. And at the same time, it unpegged right in this area, which is good because that should free up this fuel tank area. We can just wiggle, jiggle that and pull that free as well. This is the sloppiest point of transformation. And what we're going to do is try to get it to come together by rotating the front wheel forward. And this is the front wheel, which is currently as far back as it can be. Make sure you've got this other wheel extended to give yourself a little more clearance, and then just let that front wheel come forward. Now, obviously there's some things that you need to make sure stay out of the way as you do this, so do what you can to allow that to happen. Now, here you can see the front gauntlet here. You're gonna wanna go ahead and bring that forward and spin it down. Same thing on the other side, but that's a little gratuitous at the moment because we have bigger fish to fry. Now there's also inside here a little radiator, and we need to swing that through at this point. So we got our front wheel forward, we've got our radiator forward, we've got the clip forward. Everything is starting to come together. And now we are going to bring up the front fascia that we have so diligently clipped together earlier. Now you can see there the little arms are coming down on me, so I want to push that all back together. And those gray pieces in the middle also tab into each other, so we want to try to make sure everything's nice and tight throughout. Now make sure the windscreen isn't tucked within your gas tank. You need that piece out. You also should lift up this piece here. And as you bring things forward, you should bring the fascia up as far as you can. And then you can bring the gas tank. It has a little clip that you can see goes onto these tabs here. So you just want to line that up. It should sink right into place. And you'll know you got it right if your windscreen can peg in the front. So there you go, like so. That is good. Going to the back of the toy, we have the rear area here, which we want to be able to tab this section into those pegs right there. So we're going to bring that up and tab that in, and we're going to bring that little door down. Oops, do not do on the inside, it should be on the outside. And I'm going to bring that down like so. And you can see now you're getting fairly close. Pull that up all the way to bike mode. While the top of the bike is nice and solid, the bottom of the bike leaves a lot to be desired at this point. And that's because we haven't locked the hook into place. So let's move this forward. There's this hook right here, and there's this front piece here. Now the radiator's got a couple tabs. It's going to go into these gray pieces up above. So make sure that that is again tabbed into position. It's fighting me a little bit here. And then these pieces are connected and your front fascia is nice and solid. And then you could bring this up and you bring that hook into position. And with that hook in position, you could bring what was the crotch armor down and grab onto it and then push this piece. Now you want to make sure you got your gauntlets in the forward position. But then you could push the radiator. Let's get both of them out. Push the radiator up until it sinks in underneath the fascia, like so. This is what things look like underneath that front fascia with the radiator tabbing in. Just apply a little pressure, make sure that all works. You're gonna have to fine tune that windscreen a bunch of times, so don't worry about that. We wanna bring the wheel around in front now, and there's a couple things you gotta be aware of. This bar here that the kickstand is on pivots, and if it's not in the right position, you won't be able to bring that wheel all the way forward. And then also, there's really tight clearances in there. So we should be able to bring the wheel forward and apply pressure, and you should hear it click into place like so. And then once that's done, you should be able to bring down the gauntlets. And obviously I've discharged some things, but there's a couple different pegs, a couple different slots, and we're going to peg that into position. And then we're just going to repeat with the other arm on the other side. That one just has the one fat peg that goes into position. And then we're going to try to line things up. And again, we'll get that front fascia back together and make sure everything is pegged properly underneath. And then we'll turn our attention to the back of the toy. And if the back on your toy has popped free like mine has, no big deal. It's actually kind of helpful here because we're going to lift that back way up right now. We're going to pull the back wheel out and away, and then we're just going to be able to twist it on over. And now we can go ahead and get that back to peg right back into position and bring that down. And then we just have to get our back armor pieces to connect. And they have the little peg that's coming out that was connected to the knees of the rider. And we just want to get this piece here, rotate it around. It's a little swivel. Rotate it as far back as it'll go now. And then you should be able to just peg it right into position like so. And again, I've popped that back free again. And then we're just going to, I'm sure you're doing the same thing, get that fixed, and we'll just do the same thing with the other hip guard on the other side. You'll know you've got the rear hip armors in place correctly if you can bring that kickstand back and it kind of cradles in like so. Now we do have one thing that isn't quite transformed correctly, and that's the back here. You should be able to recess this all the way and have it connect. And if it can't, like mine wouldn't be able to right now, it's because this piece that has a little coil over suspension to it isn't far enough forward. So just give that a little push and that should seat in, and then you should be able to recess in. Now you do want that piece on the outside there, but you can recess in the back of the bike and have it peg into place and then bring that down, and everything should be much more secure on the back. And now you are in motorcycle mode. Everything is going to be pretty steady. The gauntlets will twist around on you. The windscreen will get knocked out of place. But otherwise, things should look very good. You can grab your rider figure, have fun, do your display however you want. Check out my full article on anymoon.com. And as always, thanks for watching.